So hi everybody. We have today with us Adam Riemer. He's a marketing strategist, a keynote speaker, and award-winning consultant. He's an expert in affiliate. He's been in the industry since forever, and he's going to talk to us about him speaking at Barbados SEO, and we will chat about lots of things that have to do with SEO and the digital industry. So grab a cuppa and join us for the talk. Hi Adam. Thank you for joining us and this sort of talks that we're doing before the conference.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited to see y'all in person.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with I'm sure you've been asked this 100,000 times, but how did you get started in SEO?
By accident, like most people. In the 90s, I was putting up websites, mostly just on AngelFire and GeoCities.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I went to college, I sort of kept going but stopped. And then in the professional world, I got sort of pushed into a digital marketing world, and I got fired from the first few jobs. I was also a DJ, and so I had to put up a website for myself to let people know where I was playing. And then people were asking for email addresses back then, so I learned email marketing and everything. And I saw traffic coming in from Lycos and some other places, and that's kind of how I learned about the search engines. And then the professional world, they taught me that these actually have their marketing channels, and people make an income off of them. And here's an actual industry that I had already put myself into without knowing it.
Yeah. Which are the things that you wish you had known when you started? Because I know it was a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I got fired from my first 3 or 4 jobs because I didn't know what they were talking about. They kept saying SEO this, SEO that. I was like, well, what the heck is this? Finally sat down at a company after getting fired a bunch of times. So I would get the traffic going, and I would build the affiliate relationships. I think I was on Be Free at that time with one of the companies, and we were growing, and that was right before Commission Junction bought them. And I didn't know what any of the terms they were throwing around in the boardroom and the meetings were, but they would say, hey, can you do this? We need to increase our presence in this search engine. I was like, oh yeah, that's easy. And then they would throw these stupid terms at me like SEO. One time I finally got a boss that understood. I knew how to do the job. I just didn't know it. They sat me down and they said, this is what this means. It made sense. That company succeeded. And in the first 6 months, I grew the channels by close to $40 million. And it was a company that was only doing 30. So it was a substantial thing. That was probably, I guess, the first professional type of work I did, because I was able to tie it back and then explain what I did and why, knowing the results. And here is the way to present it to business people.
Yeah, so
those of us that are just content techie weirdos.
Yeah,
that sort of came together and created an industry.
Yeah, so you didn't know the lingo, all the jargon and stuff like that. Yeah, it can be confusing, especially for people who start, and I'm guessing people who started 20 years ago. So
yeah, and the boards, they didn't want someone that couldn't communicate with them. The bosses were getting frustrated because they never knew how to do it, because it didn't really exist as a thing. There were buzzwords, like how we say digital PR now, which is nothing. That's literally just doing PR. So yeah, that was the big break, and that's when I learned that wording actually does matter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm guessing the industry has changed a lot over the last 2-3 decades. What was the biggest challenge then, and what is the biggest challenge for the digital industry these days?
Nothing has changed. We just have new code bases. We didn't really have schema back then. We do have schema now, and schema is able to be deployed. There's just more competitors out there, but it's the same snake oil everywhere. You're going to find a million people promising results, a million get rich quick, a million guides that are written by people who don't actually do the work. But the truth is, nothing has actually changed that much. You still create a website that gives a good user experience, says what you do, and you get rewarded for it. People go for these shortcuts all the time. They go for buzzwords and kitschy gimmicks. That doesn't work. If you're trying to game the system versus building a destination for people to go to and want to come back to, you're not going to succeed. Eventually, you're going to get wiped out.
Yeah, it's amazing that what you're saying, all the snake oil sellers and all that, and all these people trying to scam people who are starting in the industry, they're still thriving. And how do you and how does like, you know, people who are legit, how do you fight against that? Or will these people just filter themselves out just because, you know, at some point someone's actually going to realize that what they're doing, it doesn't work?
I don't filter them out. People pitch my clients all the time. Most of my clients know to better. They came to me because they kept getting burned, and now they're ready to put the effort in the right way.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I mean, I am losing a client right now, which is unfortunate. Someone came in and pitched them, promised them the world, and they are going to win the contract, and it's okay. I have a replacement client ready to go. They're going to learn the hard way and they're going to come back. And we've already had that discussion, but I told them their space will be filled and I'm not going to hold it for them. So it is what it is. The thing that I've done and learned to do is if you go to my website, I'm not going to self-promote here, you're going to notice that there's a million glaring errors there. I use that to interview people when I'm helping clients hire, and I use it to interview people when I'm looking for contractors or employees for my own company. And every single article has typos, grammar errors. My About Me page, I just redid that and I purposely broke it. I actually had ChatGPT respin some of the content. Then I rebroke it from ChatGPT, so it's also not AI generated. And that way, like what I'm doing, because I want to ask people who wrote this and why would it be written. So it's like I'm trying, and I use it to ask questions. Now, when clients come in and prospective clients come in, if they're worried about aesthetic appeal, if they're worried about punctuation, they're going to be a horrible company to work with. If they read the content and they absorb the information that I'm sharing, a lot of it is based in my personal experience. And I do share examples of where it worked and why it didn't work. If they don't see that and gain it, and they're so worried about the aesthetic, then they're going to be horrible to work with. And I don't want to work with them. If they actually read and they understand why something worked and they like the strategy and the thought process that went in, they're going to be a great company that I actually do want to work with.
Yeah.
And that's actually how I don't worry about the snake oil. I worry about the person as they're coming to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of how I find the good clients. There's not as many. I could be a lot bigger if I just took on every project, but it also always have to be replacing.
Yeah.
Half of my client roster just hit 8 years and longer.
Oh, that's a very long
They
time.
normally don't leave, and every single one of them has grown year over year.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
So it's like we're on a good track record. It's the same thing I tell. You can do these cheap gimmicks, but you're not going to succeed. You will
Yeah.
eventually fall.
Yeah.
You can test things, and you always should test things and
Yeah,
try new
yeah, yeah.
things.
And you have
Like
to
I'm not saying don't,
and you
but
have to experiment and play around with, you know, new things and changes and stuff like that. But the basis,
yeah,
there needs to be a solid basis for everything.
yeah. And it's also important to be realistic. So yes, you don't want to change your site structure all the time, but it's also not the end of the world. So for some sites, the homepage is not supposed to show up for anything but the brand. That means you can split test the homepage on SEO. It's branded traffic. See how people respond and react. Do they like the new wording? Do they not like it? As long as you keep the internal links for the most part the same, and that could be done through your navigation or could be done through a blurb that doesn't change, then you have the flexibility to do that because it's not important for SEO. Your homepage will, in theory, always show up for your branded search. And there could be categories and collections as well. So like if you're in the Shopify world, you're going to say collection. If you're in WooCommerce, you're going to, and the others, you're going to say categories. And basically, if you have some that where there is no native search and it's more a social media player, it's a product that we like, but nobody has demand because we haven't created an audience, that's another place you can test and play.
Yeah.
And it makes it really good. So then if it is working and if it is resonating, then you can update the pages that you don't want to have fall out of the search engines. And a lot of people forget, just because you're testing in those pages that aren't important doesn't mean other channels aren't relying on it too. So when we're talking about like affiliate marketing and affiliate programs, make sure you check inside the platform and you check inside analytics. So in analytics, you'd go by source, and inside the platform, you'd go by landing page and creative to see, are they using those pages? Because if you break the tracking there, you just cut the revenue stream off from those partners in that channel. And with affiliate specific, you're not getting it back. You could also possibly check email to make sure you don't have anything trickling in still, and there's nothing lined up going to that category or collection in a couple of weeks or a month, because that's going to do it. Oh, and the other thing that I've come across more frequently as people are testing more often, which is a good thing, but they forget to check their blog for internal links pointing to those pages that they're testing. They want to keep a good user experience. So in that case, you would redirect the audience off to a new one, set the canonicals back to the official page, and then have the blog posts pointing to the original one, and make sure you exclude them from the test. That's a big error I've seen that people have forgot to do.
Yeah, you were touching here a little bit on like an affiliate and affiliate marketing and monetization. And that's one of the things that, you're one of the biggest experts in the industry on that. You've talked extensively about that. You have a lot of information about it on your website. What tips would you give yourself if you had to start over in affiliates and monetization?
I did it the right way.
Okay.
But I would tell myself, so when my first affiliate websites on standalone URLs went up, it was a hand-coded HTML site. Then I put CSS in, it was pre-WordPress. And I would have said, go for CMS and make something transferable. And I would have not automated as much as I did. So a few of the sites got hacked through WordPress vulnerabilities. And at the time I was using Aweber on one of those sites. And I still use Aweber on adamriemer.me, and that one got hacked. And what happened was the hackers started deploying blog posts. They were doing it through the history and predating it, thinking I wouldn't find it. Of course I did. But what ended up happening is I had a blog broadcast set, and every time they would publish an article or inject a link, it would trigger an email. 30 or 40 spam emails went out to my entire list, and I lost 80% of it.
Oh my God.
Pornographic images were sent, gambling, other things, and it went to the audience. I lost big companies too. Molton Brown, for example, was on there all the time and reading, and I really, really wanted product samples from them. Like, I freaking love that brand.
Yeah.
They don't sell it here in the US very often. Like, it's hard, it's expensive. You'll have it in the UK. Oh my gosh, their soaps are amazing. I know that's not important for this call, but like, I lost my favorite brands. I didn't even know they were reading because the list was growing all the time. And I lost my passion for even caring about that. So I'd be smarter. Yes, automating can be good and time saving, but do it the right way. And that was the big mistake. And I see clients doing it all the way. And now with AI, there's a client, they're not listed anywhere on my websites or in my bio, so I can say this part. They are in a regulated industry, and they launched an AI chat, a live chat. Well, what happens is that AI chat is scanning their website looking for answers and content to save time and money. The problem is, when you're in a regulated industry, there are going to be legal questions. It doesn't matter if it's insurance, if it's tobacco, if it's alcohol,
or medicine or healthcare.
Yeah. What's going to happen is people ask things, and this live chat is making assumptions based on the copy and answering legal questions with legal advice that is factually incorrect. So I shared it with the client. The client didn't believe it. So I asked the client to go check it out themselves. The client went, oh crap, and let me nix it. But the client was dead set. Everyone tried to warn it was bad. So we went live. Good thing is we tracked the records. Nobody had actually asked anything that would have triggered that. So the chat's gone until we can properly train it. It's a way to save time and make a shortcut, but there's risks when you automate anything. So you've got to do it smart, especially with AI and machine learning.
Yeah. And that's another thing, another interesting topic that you're covering. The fact that, everybody's talking these days about AI. AI has not been here since like a very recent time. It's been here for a longer time than, the general public has been aware. But it seems like now everybody's talking about it. And, there's either people thinking it's a great opportunity or people thinking that, this is going to be the apocalypse of SEO and digital. What do you think about it? Like, where do you sit in this debate?
I love it. I'm scared of it, but very different reasons. I'm scared a lot of good people and good companies are going to burn some stuff to the ground that didn't deserve it because they listened to the wrong people. And they're going for the gurus, and they're going for people that don't work in the trenches and actually do it. And that's where I see it going very bad. When used properly, it could help you. So site search, for example, you have AdBloom, and they're Bloomreach now, I think. And you have Algolia, and you have all these other amazing companies out there. And they've been using personalization and AI to gather data and information to deliver a better experience into the website in the e-commerce realm. For a heck of a search springs another, and it's been fantastic. And that's all AI. It's the same thing as these it's the same
Yeah.
thing as the
Yeah.
LLMs we're seeing now with Bard and with ChatGPT, but it was just used in a different way. And so it's stuff that we've had, it's just getting a new name, and now it's becoming more widely known to the public. Experienced marketers that use data and use ROI to make decisions, they're already familiar with this. So they're going to have an advantage when it comes to how to use these and how to prompt it, because we've been doing that for years. And it, to an extent, existed in email. You have Constant Contact, you have Drip, you have Klaviyo, and they offer flows and winbacks that communicate with the e-commerce system. If you set it the wrong way or the wrong trigger or the wrong message, then it's not going to work. So people that are familiar with how do we set up the right funnels, and if they do, like some of my email campaigns have gone 20 nodes deep, to like, if this then that, and then if this and they purchased this but didn't purchase this, push them over here to this left funnel from this flow because they're at this different stage. And I use that a lot with a health spa client with microneedling and different procedures like Juvederm. And so basically we would flip them through, and that teaches people how to prompt based on user intent. And those are the people that are really going to succeed. And hopefully they're the people that get the microphone, and they're the people that get to speak. It's not going to happen because the trade shows want to sell tickets. So that's why they bring in the people that don't do the work. But those are the people that could stop the smaller businesses and the mid-sized companies from burning themselves to the ground.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
That's
what I would say I hope happens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could get up there and talk about it for hours. I've been using AI for gosh knows how long, but I really don't like to get up on stage, and I don't like a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually created some presentations for other people that do. And I teach them how to talk and how to share it.
Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. Like AI has been here for like some time around, but the thing, it appears that, with ChatGPT, Bard, and all the other kind of like AIs like coming out to the general public, everybody seems to be talking about it. And yeah, it's interesting to see what people think about that.
Yeah, it's a huge time saver, and it can really create some good user experiences. It's not going to replace people. It's going to replace people that don't do their job well. Those people are going to shine at first, but it's going to bite them in the butt, because all of a sudden the shortcuts they're taking because they never properly learned the channels are going to turn out into like, oh crap, we just stole something that's trademarked, or or hey, we're not actually creating original thoughts, we're relying on a machine, and that lacks experience and knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's not going to go well.
Yeah. Going back to the affiliate, what's the most profitable, I can't talk today. What's the most profitable vertical in affiliate marketing in your experience, like with all these years that you've been working? None of them.
Zero. It's what you actually know about and what you can stay passionate about.
Okay.
So one of my old sites was a Broadway website. Mm-hmm. And I was getting offered very large commissions. I was on Pixar's PR list. They were introducing me to the stars and celebrities, like actual phone calls with like big names. And it was really cool. But I never made a single sale for any of them. But there was a competitor that was paying 25 cents a lead, and I was crushing it there. So it's really just about, who do you like, what can you do, and what can you stay passionate about? If you can do that, you're going to make money, and then you monetize afterwards. The vertical doesn't matter. It matters what audience can you actually build, and you have to keep people coming back. So Martin, who owns the conference, the Barbados SEO one, he worked for Expedia for a long time. Expedia is a massive affiliate website.
Yeah.
And I've recruited them into affiliate programs before. So like, if you book something overseas, it's going to prompt you after checkout. Do you need a passport? Do you need a visa? Check here. Those are actually affiliate links. And those go to an old client of mine, and we recruited that and built the relationship. So it's like, but Expedia, you know them as a brand. You don't think of them that they are an affiliate site. Everything they do is off of commissions, and they're active affiliates in affiliate programs. So that's what I mean by building a destination. The people there felt passionate about travels and travel deals and saving people money, and they created a place where you keep coming back to find more. And that's what you need to do.
And in the end,
it's another example, and same with Healthline.
Yeah,
they're all affiliate websites.
Yeah, I've been writing on a travel blog, and this is like possibly not relevant to this talk, but when people ask me like, what should I blog about? And I always tell them the same: you need to blog about something that you're passionate about, because if you don't like it, if you're not passionate about it, if you don't believe in it, you're going to get tired, because before you make any money through blogging, you're going to have to do all the grinding for at least a couple of years, maybe 3 if you're lucky. You better like what you're doing it, because if not, it's pointless. It's not an easy fix, and it's never a quick win.
Something that I tell people that are thinking about going into it is they're not going to make money in their first year. Like, you could make $500 or $1,000 a month. That's very doable, like really easy, to be honest. But you're not going to make actual serious money. So I tell them to sit down and within the next hour and a half to 2 hours, come back to me with 50 unique topics about it. Line that up and write them. Start going, and that's 1 post a week for almost a full year, 2 weeks off for vacation or whatever. And if you can't come up with 50 topics, you're not going to be passionate about it. Like, you don't truly love it.
Yeah.
And there are 50 topics you could write about in the infomercial space, and we would have to create about a single product that had no demand and solve problems people didn't know they had. So
yeah,
you can write 50 articles easy.
So what are the best and the worst things about the industry for you?
Affiliate marketing or SEO?
Affiliate marketing.
Affiliate is the massive amount of misinformation and bias studies. So you'll hear that specific types of partners drive 20% or 30% or 40% new to file customers. But what the people that run the studies forget to mention is, would those sales have occurred if the affiliate program didn't exist at all? They purposely leave that out because, yes, those sales would have occurred. I do a lot of affiliate program audits, and there was a very large one I did for a brand out of the UK. Their affiliate program was doing, it was an 8-figure program in the beauty and accessories. They didn't have a single actual affiliate. They were losing tens of millions of dollars every single year. And the networks had them convinced that it was adding value, so we stopped the program. We watched sales, we didn't stop at 100%. We removed some of them to test. And we did a lot of testing. First, we looked at where does the touch point happen. We surveyed the customers. We actually stopped the browser extensions from firing using JavaScripts. Like, we did a lot of testing before we actually tried shut off like a 10-figure thing. Like, we're not just gonna do it. I already knew what the answer would be, but you have to build confidence, especially with a large brand. And what was missing was the fact that when we removed the affiliate program, all the conversions still happen, even though they sell their products in third parties, even though they distribute. Here in the US, it would be like Amazon and Walmart. And like with you all, it would be like Harrods and Corte Inglés in Spain. But like, and so the sales didn't go to those. They stayed on the site. And by removing the program, they could actually save millions upon millions of dollars, invest that into paid marketing, invest that into email, invest it into employees and salaries, bonuses and benefits. And a lot of programs have the same issue, but there's really fancy stats and reports, but they're biased and they focus on the affiliate channel, or they'll say with others, and this helped close the deal, but they forget to say, if the program didn't exist, would these still have happened? And that's what bugs me the most, because a lot of people lose a lot of money.
Yeah. And if we talk about like the SEO industry, what are the best and the worst things?
The worst things are that you have to find the right groups of people, because there is no set guideline. There are no actual best practices. There's what the different groups and communities consider best practices, but there isn't a standard, because everything's held behind closed doors until the index leak that showed exactly what was happening. But Google can't tell you it. Well, they could. They're just not going to tell you exactly
they will not do it.
No, same with Bing, same with Yahoo. So you have to come together with the community. And if you find the wrong community, you're not going to get information that's usable. You'll get some tactics that may work, but you're also going to get some that won't. And that's the hard part, especially if you're younger or you're brand new and coming in, like not age, but like experience level, and you can't figure out what's real and what's not. That's the worst part about the industry is you're going to trust people and then realize you went to the exact wrong one.
Yeah.
But
Would
that could
that
be
be, yeah, would that be like one of the tips and advice you would give to someone coming into the industry? Find the right group of people to learn from.
I'd say trust your gut, don't trust the shiny objects,
Hmm.
and test everything. And see, are the people in the community willing to talk to you one-on-one? Doesn't matter if there's big names or not. That's the value of the community. The most well-known and respected people in the most popular, if it's a good community that's actually there to teach and learn, they're going to spend the time with you.
Is it easier today, like these days, to access people in the community than it was like years ago?
Yeah, years ago we had to go into forums and you actually didn't know who anyone was.
Yeah.
So there was Webmaster World and there was A Best Web. Those were the two big ones. And then after that you had like 5-star affiliates and you had the CJ forums, and but those one, I don't know, 5-star might still be there. And I think Wicked Fire was another big one, but like in Black Hat World, that was a big one. Now it's a conference too, I think still. And you would just there were mixed groups there, and you would kind of have to figure out what was real, what wasn't. And then there were also private and VIP communities mixed inside there. And there were ones after you got like A Best Web was my personal favorite back then, and you would have to post and have approved posts a certain amount and have been there for so many years. Then you got invited to the private forums, which were only for established community members.
Mm-hmm.
But it was thousands upon thousands of value adding posts before you would get there. And that's not good for someone that's newer or that's doing this as a job but not a passion.
Yeah.
They still need to learn. And that's why it's like it's easier now because there's more openness, but there's also more groups. And how do you weed through?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, that was a long-winded answer.
No, but it's really a really good one, and it's very relevant. So looking back at your career, like what is your proudest industry achievement? What's the thing that you've done that you're the proudest of?
This person came up and hugged me. I don't like the whole touching thing, especially with like strangers. And she was crying. She came up and she just said something that I told her from stage, and I don't have any memory of this. Actually sat there, saved her business, and she showed me pictures of her kids. She's like, "We're putting college funds away. We're doing this now." And I was like, "Huh, that's cool." I didn't even remember. And I remember the day in the session, but I'm always nervous wreck on stage. So I don't remember like half the things that come out of my mouth, and I don't go off my slides because I'm better just with live Q&A. And that was a big memorable one. One of my clients that's been with me for 15 years, he met me 20 years ago at a conference. I don't remember meeting him there, but he's like, "Yeah, I followed you ever since. I was shocked when you wanted to work with us." And now it's 15 years later. Yeah,
And you're
it's
working
like,
with that person, yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's cool that way.
Yeah, talk
So
now that
that
you
was the best, was finding out
yeah.
that I had an impact, and it's happened a bunch of times over the years now, but I've had a long career and I'm blessed for that. But that was the first memorable one, was a stranger like walking up crying because like I had a big impact on her life, and it still creeps me out that she did that.
Oh.
But it was nice, like, and it was really cool that I was able to help someone like that I didn't even know I did.
Yeah, and it came from her heart, possibly because she was like, unawares to you, you had a big impact in her business, most likely. So
Yeah, and then other cool things are like there was a company in Israel that used to send their team to come see me speak at every conference, so I'm becoming friends with them. And yeah, there was the X Correct group used to always come up to my shows. They're based out of Playa del Carmen in Mexico, and they would always come up, and that was kind of cool. It's like, oh, this is neat. So I started to make friends around the world. So I felt like I'm not naturally extroverted. I put on a good front at some conferences, but it was kind of cool to be able to build a network of people around the world. And yeah, and so that was kind of cool because I didn't think I'd actually have friends all over, and now I do.
yeah, so you're going to be speaking at Barbados SEO, the second Barbados SEO, which is happening in November 2023. Can you give us like a little bit of a snippet of what you're going to be talking about without spoiling it for anyone coming?
Yeah, so it was originally going to be about just building some backlinks, but I changed the topic, and what it's going to be is how to build a better user experience so it's more inclusive, which can convert people on the website better and also attract backlinks. And everything in the presentation is going to be from real world experience that I've actually implemented. There may be, as I build the presentation more, things that I want to do, but I'll preface, I have not done this yet, but here's why I want to do it. And with the LLMs and everything coming out, I'm probably going to have new ideas. So who knows what it'll actually look like. I might change it that same morning. But that's kind of the overall concept, especially now that Barbados has overturned their anti-LGBTQ policies.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to incorporate, here's how to attract, here's how to share that it's that without having to put rainbow flags all over your website, for example. Here's how to show that you are a safe and welcoming environment so that, yes, people can come and enjoy Barbados.
Is it going to be your first time in Barbados?
Yeah. So it's one of probably 8 islands I haven't been to or less now.
And apart from speaking at the conference, what are you most looking forward to about the conference?
Meeting Princess Wigglebottoms, Martin's cat.
Martin's cat.
Yes, that is what I'm most excited about. I gave her a name, so now I got to meet her. Yeah, I came up with the name.
So you came up. You're the one who came up with the name.
Yeah, so it's time I meet her.
And what will you say to anyone who's a bit sitting on the fence about coming to like an SEO conference in Barbados? Because, you know, for a lot of people, Barbados sounds like a very remote place.
Why would you want to not be in the Caribbean in the winter?
Yeah. Amazing weather, great food, and a really, really cracking lineup of speakers.
And if you drink, you have rum. If you don't, the Caribbean gets amazing coffee because they bring it directly from South America and stuff. So yes, coffee if you don't drink, rum if you do. Yeah.
No, that's fantastic. I think we can wrap it up, Adam. It's been really good. Is there anything else you want to say?
See y'all in Barbados.
Yeah. See you all in Barbados. Thank you very much, Adam.